often this effect is really going to be used for extending. However, if you do end up destroying a Link monster, this card is going to have a lot of value. That's what I'm seeing here. So next we're going to have
Wait, hold up.
Oh my god,
Let
no,
him
no, no!
Right, that's right, hold up, wait a minute. You forgot to mention the Lingerous Dragon.
I was getting to that, bro. No, I was getting to that,
right.
bro.
Let him cook.
I was gonna wait for the skills and go back. No, PDS. Oh my. What's up, guys? Dealy Kamel here to talk about Varis or Revolver. Unlocked finally in Duel Links. In order to get Revolver, you're going to need to complete the 4th episode of the Destiny at Hand Varis event. Doing so will unlock Revolver. And yeah, basically I've just been playing Gokis to farm him up, make the Master Ogre, get him up, so it's pretty easy to get him. And so we're going to go through the level up rewards first, and then we're going to move on to the skills. So we're going to get Sniffing Dragon. This is an anime card that he uses, and it says of his normal special summon, you can add a Sniffer Dragon from your deck to your hand. So boom. If it's brought out, you can get another Sniffing Dragon. Yeah, it's on a rocket, so don't think you're going to be playing it. Next, we've got... Oh man, you know what I just realized? I do not have the cards up on the screen. Let's fix that real quick. Boom. Boom. Alright, there we go. Sniffing Dragon. And then Magna Rocket Dragon. Okay, so Magna Rocket. Here, I'll move myself. I'll move myself over here. Magna Rocket says, when a Link monster's effect is activated, the target's this face-up card on the field. Quick effect, you can destroy this card, then send one monster on the field to the graveyard. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field by battle or card effect, and center this turn, you can special summon one rocket monster from your deck. Okay. So, I think that Magna Rocket Dragon is one of the better rockets for us to have. However, the fact that it is kind of reliant on us making Borlo Dragon, I do think it's going to hurt its overall power, because it does say when a Link monster effect is activated, the target's face-up card. You know, you could be looking at something like the card we're going to talk about next, like Quad Boral, but, you know, optimally, you don't really want to discard a card to destroy this to do something else. You want to just, you know, be able to target it with Borlo Dragon's effect to just send something after it. So, making Borlo Dragon is really what we're going to be looking for here in these skills and level up rewards, because I feel like we have all the other parts of the combo. Just reliably making Borlo is what we're looking for here. So next we've got Quad Boral. It says 2 Dragon type monsters, including a rocket. You can discard a card and target a face-up monster in the field. You cannot special summon Link 2 or lower monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. Also destroy the targeted monster. If it was a Link monster, you can special summon any number of rocket monsters with different names from your hand or graveyard up to its Link rating. Okay, so now this is a interesting Link to... You're probably just going to be playing one of these in your deck. Not sure how often this effect is really going to be used for extending. However, if you do end up destroying a Link monster, this card is going to have a lot of value. That's what I'm seeing here. So next we're going to have
Wait, hold up.
Oh my god,
Let
no,
him
no, no!
Right, that's right, hold up, wait a minute. You forgot to mention the Lingerous Dragon.
I was getting to that, bro. No. Alright, boom. So we got Rapid Trigger. This is a quick play fusion spell that says fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck by destroying fusion materials listed on it from your field, but can only attack monsters special summoned from the extra deck. Also, it is unaffected by activated effects from any other monsters special summoned from the extra deck once per turn. So this is going to be really useful. It's actually going to work well with the recent event rewards, Borlo Furious Dragon and Silver Rocket Dragon, right? When you destroy Silver Rocket Dragon on the field, you'll be able to proc its effect and use it for the fusion summon of Borlo Furious Dragon. And then Borlo Furious Dragon itself, the event reward, synergizes extremely well with Revolver's level up card, Rapid Trigger here. Very nice. If we want to take a look at that card really quickly, Borlo Furious Dragon says, boom, quick effect,
PDS,
Snapdragon effect. Oh my gosh. It is a quick effect Snapdragon card. This is you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Dark Link in your graveyard, special summon it. Boom. Very nice. That is the secondary effect. You can banish it from your graveyard. However, something I do think is that while this line of play is very good, I don't think that the deck is going to work in a way where you want to be seeing your fusion play before you're able to bring out Borlo Dragon. I think that is the key part of the deck, being able to bring out Borlo Dragon, and you kind of going Ultimate Furious Dragon first is kind of weird because a lot of the cards that you're using initially, you know, they're better off being used to establish Borlo Dragon first and then Furious Dragon kind of like to solidify your board. I think making Furious Dragon first will make the follow-up cards harder to use to make Borlo Dragon. So let me know what you guys think about that for sure. What is this skill? Peak Performance, very interesting. So Sniffing Rocket, Magna Rocket Dragon, and Rapid Trigger are the cards we're going to be getting a play set of, including Quad Boral over here. And then we're getting Mirror Force Launcher. Now this is an anime card that Varis uses after he has already revealed that he has Mirror Force. Now he has this to reuse the Mirror Force. And yes, this is going to let you reuse Mirror Force as well, but I don't think that you are going to be playing this. Mirror Force on its own, limited one, it has to compete with many other cards, so most decks will not end up playing Mirror Force. Will Rockets? I don't think that there is a limit one card that they are utilizing just yet, but in order for them to commit to Mirror Force would have to be the best possible one. There would have to be no other limit one card. That means Econ is useless, Trench is useless, all these other cards have to be useless in Rockets for you to justify running Mirror Force. And that just may be the case because they don't make use of cards like Tour Guide or the reinforcements of the army, so we'll have to see. Mirror Force might find its way into the Rocket deck. But let's take a look at some of these skills here. Now for generic skills, Revolver has Beatdown, he has Draw Sense Dark, he's got Link Booster, he's also got Peak Performance, which he shares with Kaiba. Let's look at some of his exclusive skills. Anti-Glare Shield, this is a anime reference. It says until the end of your opponent's turn, if your opponent's light monsters attacks you, the battle damage you would take becomes 0 once only. So this is basically just a skill like that is talking about lightning in the anime. This is like he had the little glare shield in the anime when he used an attack against lightning, so that's what this is referencing. His starter skill that you get at level 1 is Blasting Boral. At the beginning of the duel, add a Borlo Dragon to your extra deck, and then can be used if your life points are at 3,000 or below. Choose either one Mini Boral Dragon or one Quad Boral Dragon and add it to your extra deck. This skill can only be used once per turn and twice per duel. So Mini Boral Dragon is going to be in the mini box that is coming out. This is if you control a Boral Link monster while this card is in your graveyard, you contribute 1 Link 3 or lower monster special summon it to the field, but it cannot be used material for the Link summon of a monster with the same Link rating as a attributed monster. So this is mainly here for you to summon it, send it to the graveyard for a Link summon, and then reuse it again for Borlo Dragon. I don't think that this is going to be better than one of the other skills that we're going to be talking about, but just because this gives you Borlo Dragon, yeah, if you're not going to get Borlo Dragon, this is the skill you're going to be using. Boral Booster. If you control a Boral monster, your Boral monsters and Rocket monsters will gain 200 attack. Now this is going to be a passive skill, so it should activate at the beginning of the duel, but plus 200 is just not good enough. It's not better than Ties That Bind, so no thank you. Next, we've got Boral Launch. At the start of your 3rd turn, send 1 Delingers Dragon from outside of your deck to the graveyard. In addition, the following effect can be used once per duel. If you control a Rocket monster, return 1 card in your hand to the deck, then set 1 Boot Sector Launch to your field from your deck. During this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except Dark monsters. This skill can only be applied if you begin the duel with a deck that has 9 Rocket monsters and your extra deck has to have Borlo Dragon. And boom, so let's break the skill down. At the start of your 3rd turn, which means if you go first, this means turn 5, or if you go second, this means turn 6, then you're going to send Delingers Dragon to the graveyard. So Delingerous Dragon, we read it before. This says in the graveyard, if a rocket monster is special summoned to this field while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it. So this is a Link 2 monster that you're going to be bringing out of the graveyard when you special summon a rocket. Now that we've got that down, let's move on. This can be used once per duel if you control a rocket monster. Return one card in your hand to the deck and set one Boot Sector Launch to your field from your deck. So this is any card from your hand, doesn't have to be a monster. And Boot Sector Launch is the rocket field spell. Let's take a look. All rocket monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. And then you can activate one of these effects, special summon up to 2 rocket monsters with different names from your hand in defense position. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, special summon rocket monsters with different names from your graveyard in defense position up to the difference. So, this card is insanely busted, and there is a reason why we are not going to have this card regularly accessible and why it is behind a skill. And that's because this card gives you insane... I mean, we will have it accessible, but the only way that it's going to be searchable, I should say, is via this skill, right? The specific reason that Konami did not give us a card like Striker Dragon is so that we don't have free ready access to this card. We're going to have to hard draw it or utilize this skill in order to have ready access to it. So, Boot Sector Launch is really going to be powering up your mid-game, special summoning 2 rocket monsters from your hand. This is like, so because this effect is only at the start of your 3rd turn. Now wait a second. Now the thing is, right, so look. This skill has 2 separate effects. So at the start of your 3rd turn, Delingerous Dragon will be in the grave. So that happens. However, I'm assuming that before then, you can then activate this skill to utilize the Boot Sector Launch effect before you get access to Delingerous Dragon. So that's what I'm going to say you are doing here. And because of that, I'm going to say this skill is actually really good because it's allowing you to utilize these effects, which, you know, regularly would be locked to the mid game because we don't have this card searchable. Now you'll be able to Boro Launch out Boot Sector Launch out very early and utilize its effect to extend into Borlo Dragon extremely early. So this is, for me, is going to be the best skill for Rockets and Revolver, just because of the fact that it gives you access to Boot Sector Launch immediately on turn 1 and Delingerous Dragon in the grave to get you into Borlo Dragon easier. I feel like it really does help the 2 main weak points of Rockets. So I think this is going to be the best skill, but we shall continue. Draw Sense Dark, we talked about it. In the name of Hanoi. Now this skill looks pretty memey. It's going around Cracking Dragon. This is another anime card that the Knights of Hanoi use, and it cannot be destroyed by a monster with an equal or lower level. And then when your opponent normal or special summons while it's on the field, you can make that monster lose attack times 200 to its level and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack loss. So these cards, you know, they're whatever. Some of these smaller dragons would be useful in making Borlo Dragon, but these are simply not good enough to propel the Rocket archetype in a skill. And this, if you were running the skill, you would have to play your entire deck around Cracking Dragon. And I just don't think that that is good enough. So yeah, not for me. Link Booster, we talked about it. Power Attacker. This is weird. The one of us you control gain 300 attack. And it's like Link 4 or higher Link monsters, which Revolver will be able to do. Rank 5 or higher Xyz, level 5 or higher monsters. Yeah, no thanks, bro. That is some nonsense. Rocket Reload if you have 3,000 life points or less. Send 2 rocket monsters in your hand to the graveyard and add 1 Boral Regenerator from outside of your deck to the hand. Boral Regenerator is an equipped spell that lets you get a rocket monster from the graveyard. And then you draw a card after it leaves the field, after you use it for a Link Summon. Not worth, brother. And then Revolver also has his own Storm Access. I was very much looking forward to this skill because it does have the 4 topologic monsters that Revolver uses in the anime. And I was very specifically looking at Topologic Trizbaina. I was really hoping that this card would come to Duel Links. And while it's not here yet, it is in the game because of this skill. You know, if a monster is special summoned to a zone, this card puts to banish most of those monsters, and also as many spell trap cards on the field as possible, and inflict 250 for each. Now we are going to be getting Topologic Bomber Dragon via the bundle. The bundle in this card will be limited 1, so you will not be able. Wait, will it be limited to 1? I think, right? This card is limited to 1. Yes, it will be limited to 1. So boom! If you are using Topologic Bomber Dragon, there's no Mirror Force in your deck. That's it, brother. Get it out of here. Mirror Force is a dead card in Duel Links. And this is if it's something that's supposed to summon to a Link zone, destroy all monsters in the main monster zones. Also, your other monsters cannot attack for the rest of this turn. After damage calculation, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's original attack. This card, once again, is pretty busted. It's going to be limited to 1 in Duel Links, but I don't think this Storm Access skill is going to be better than Boral Launch. Storm Access, as you guys know, it will add 1 of these 4 at random to your deck. Now, this is way better than Playmaker's Storm Access skill that has like a 1 in 8 chance of adding any one of those Code Talkers. You have a 1 in 4 chance of actually getting some really, really good Link monsters here. You know, the other effects of this guy, Gumblar Dragon lost its extra Link effect, but it will allow you to discard cards from your opponent's hand. Zero Boros here. It's going to gain 200 attack for each banished card, and then if another monster is special summoned in the Link, in a zone the Link monster points to, well, the field, banish all cards on the field. Dude, some of these cards are absolutely insane. However, you getting them into your deck is going to be pure RNG. The only thing is, if the Rocket archetype does get some more versatile cards down the road and we don't get access to these cards, this skill might become the best skill once making Borlo Dragon is made much easier via us getting more cards. So I would definitely keep your eye on Storm Access for Revolver. This is definitely something to keep your eye on for a skill ticket if you don't get it before then. So yeah. And then we've got Tuning Rocket, which is going to make a Rocket a tuner. Doesn't really matter right now because we don't have Borlo Savage Dragon, but it will then. So guys, thank you for coming through to the Varis Unlock video. I'm going to say that Varis as a character does complement his archetype very well with the skills. They have several skills that are going to help the deck perform in several different ways. I do believe Boral Launch, during the start of the Rocket archetype being introduced into Duel Links, I do believe this will be the best skill simply because of the utility it gives you, how it makes summoning Borlo Dragon easier and preparing you for the mid and late game. This skill is just really, it just really does it all. It does like 3 different things. Gets you Borlo Dragon, gives you that mid game power, gives you the field spell as well. You know, you cannot, it does not get better than this right now. But I do think later on, if we do get access to more Rocket and Topologic and Borlo cards, then I believe Storm Access may actually be worth running because the monsters here are extremely powerful. And if you end up not needing the skill effect of Boral Launch to bring out some of your more powerful monsters, having access to these Link monsters in the future may be the play. Of course, it is possible that these monsters do get released. However, I don't think they're getting released in regular boxes. If we ever see these Topologics, I think they're going to be in selection boxes, or maybe one of them, like Trisbina, may be in a box down the line, but I don't think you know, we're just gonna have free access to these cards anytime soon. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think about Varis, Rockets, Topologics, Borlo. Let me know what you think the archetype is going to use from Revolver himself, what skill you think the deck is going to use, and what you're excited for in the future. Peace out, guys. I'll talk to you later when the box comes out.